You're listening to The Ripple Affect with your hosts, Cheech and Nippy, a podcast that explores how individual change has the capacity to affect the whole.
From neuroscience to donuts, we're two sisters with a deep curiosity for ancient wisdom and modern knowledge, and we're obsessed with learning alongside you because we don't know. Let's dive in. Hey, this is Kiara, your co-host of the Ripple Effect podcast, and this episode is a part of our Ripple Resource series, added resources for your benefit. This week's bonus content originated from the Sofa series episode with breathwork practitioner Amy Glovin. You can check that out, The Power of Breath. The original episode was focused on breathwork and included a live breathwork sample session, which we've included here for easy access, along with the back end of that episode where Isa interviews Amy about change. And honestly, these are some invaluable insights from Amy, so I hope you enjoy that as well.
So go ahead and relax your jaw and just take a moment to scan your internal landscape and notice anywhere that you might be clenched up or holding tension. Just take a moment and see if you're able to just send a little bit of love energy to that area of your body that might come to the forefront of your awareness that has a little tension going on. Just love yourself up a little bit, give a little shake, a little wiggle. Take one nice, big, full breath where you breathe into your belly and then up into your high chest. And then just let it go in a gentle manner, just priming the pump for a moment. And then we're going to begin by breathing in through your nose and out through your nose in a rhythm of in, out, pause. So it'll sound something like this. In, out, pause. In, out, pause. And if you begin to get a little lightheaded, that would be a signal to just let the pause ride out longer. In, out, pause. In, out, pause. Then maybe two more cycles. In, out, pause. Pause. And just let yourself float for a minute in that pause. Notice what is happening inside your skin. There may be some warmth that's generated. There may be some coolness that's generated. Just allow yourself to expand into any sensations that may be present in your body. And if you notice that your attention begins to wander, that would be the signal to pick up the breathing rhythm again of the in-out pause. Your inner self will know when it's time. In, out, pause. Allowing the in-breath to energize your cells, and the out-breath to let go of whatever it is you're ready to let go. In, out, pause. And again, we're going to do about 6 cycles of the in-out pause. In, out, pause. In, out, pause. And if anything unpleasant emerges, that's a good signal also to just rest in a lengthier pause. Allowing the pause to be the opportunity to stay connected internally to your body, your mind, and your spirit. This is a time on the pause to allow yourself to love yourself, to appreciate your willingness to try something new, to appreciate your willingness to try something familiar. The magnificent being that you are can utilize the breath at any moment to connect to your inner brilliance, to connect to your heart, embracing the divine connection between you and you, between you and the source of life, between your inner child and your inner adult. There may be a sound that wants to come through. There may be a movement that wants to come through. A gentle sway, a gentle rocking. It may simply be putting a hand on your heart to remind yourself that life is precious. Your life is precious. You are precious. Our breath becomes the tool of awareness that reminds us when we've stepped out of our connection to our divinity. When our breath constricts, our connection to life force constricts. So allowing your breath to be available with our awareness 24/7, however much you're ready and willing to be aware of your breath, can help you to be remembering how awesome you are, how precious this life is. And I'd like to unwind this with one more very simple breathing tool that is called humming, and where you breathe in through your nose and your exhalation will take on a closed mouth hum. Any tone that feels good to you. The big part is to keep your mouth, your lips relaxed but closed, so that the exhalation is a closed mouth hum. And we'll do 3 breaths of that. So you breathe in through your nose and breathe out with a hum. And then when you're ready to inhale again, do so through your nose and then exhale with another tone of humming. And then one more inhalation through your nose and exhale with a tone with closed mouth. And just let yourself pause for a moment.
Thank you so much, Amy. I want to finish off our time with you today, Amy, asking a few questions about change, because that is what this podcast is focused on. What is something that you know or feel about change that you think others could benefit from knowing?
We've often heard this quote that change is the only constant in life, and making friends with change is a great goal, is a great purpose, intention. Making friends with change can really help to bring about a sense of ease and flow when we choose to embrace our shadows, or we choose to embrace our desire to heal our traumas. We're changing a response. We can't change that those things happen, because whatever it is happened, but we can become willing to change our relationship to those events. And change can be fun. If we bring those childlike qualities into the process of creating change, that childlike wonderment and exuberance for life, and that bubbly excitement at the trying something new, that those childlike qualities can really transform our relationship to the change process, the transformation process, to where we may be embracing something that's painful, but we are also bringing in that cradle of love and safety to allow things to transform and change into something way more to our liking.
Thank you. What have been your go-tos recently in your life on embracing change? What's been coming up for you lately, and what have you been applying to and utilizing within your own wisdom bank on embracing change?
I've been doing a lot of breath, movement, and sound.
Okay, tell us more.
Well, when I notice that I start to contract against something and I become aware of it, I'll usually pause and become present with the sensations of whatever that may be. So if it's a gurgle or a tightness in my stomach, or if it's a restriction in my throat, I will pause and just become really aware of what those sensations are. And then I'll start breathing into it. I'll focus with my intention, my breath, right into those bodily sensations and follow it with any kind of movement. I mean, I probably look really dorky.
Doesn't matter.
Exactly what I was going to say, but it doesn't matter because the movement will be allowing the energy to have an expression. And sometimes it's more of a sound that is going to facilitate the movement or the expression of whatever it is that's gotten activated within me. So, I mean, there are times that I've stood out on the point, in my yard, looking out into the mountains and especially if it's a really stubborn pattern I'm wanting to embrace and change. And I'll just stand out there and start, even doing that in out pause breath exercise that we did. And I'll just do that outside. And during the pause, I'll open up to allow movement and sound to come through me. And just that simple exercise will facilitate change because I'm no longer going solid with whatever it is that has come up for me, but I've actually expanded into fluidity to allow it to expand and move through my channels. So I rely a lot on breath, movement, and sound when stuff comes forth.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful process for integration, for change, for growth, for just, taking in life and not letting it take you, I guess, but really
Yeah,
utilizing your systems to process what needs to be processed. And thank you for sharing your personal process, your personal way that you do that, your tools. That's helpful.
it's been a godsend for me, when even in the process of grief, there's so many things in life that we grieve with, from, losses of people, losses of homes or jobs or, loved ones. And that has been instrumental for me in processing grief, has been going out on the point and breathing and moving and sounding so that the grief just doesn't stay stuck, because grieving is beyond time and space. There is not a linear time cycle for that particular emotion. It just happens organically. There's such wisdom in learning how to breathe, move, and sound with it. It's just like any emotion, of course, but for me personally, it's been just a godsend.
Yeah. What a tool. What a tool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the opposite, that stagnation, I think, and that, you know, for lack of a better term, ignoring yourself and what's really knocking at your internal door, I think is
Right.
really a lot of the root cause of a lot of disease or discomfort or,
Yes.
ailments and health issues. Because I really do truly believe we are complex, integrated beings, and there's nothing that, you know, doesn't get touched in relation to your physical, mental, spiritual bodies. I think that they're so integrated. And so by, simply using movement, sound, and breath, you are going to positively or negatively affect these other areas of your mind, of your physical body. I just think it's such a beautiful access point to just really change and grow and not
Right.
even and sometimes not even change and grow, just being with yourself, just being in acceptance, being in that preciousness. I think there's so much value in that. I don't want to overvalue or put over importance on growth, because while this podcast is about change, and I think, like, if you're growing, then you're changing, and if you're changing, then you're growing, or whatnot. Um, there's so much beauty and value in the pause.
It's so true. The pause point can be such, well, it is such an integrative component to the change cycle. It's back to that light bulb. If you put too much energy through it, it's going to pop. And that's where we tend to re-traumatize ourselves when we're going through change. And the idea for change to be lasting and effective, I think it's really important to pause and integrate each step along the way.
Yeah, it makes me think of our sofa series with Dr. Wendy Walsh. She gave the analogy of lift the paddle. Sometimes you just need to lift the paddle and see where it takes you. And I
Oh,
think
that's
that's
beautiful.
a great, metaphor for that pause, and just knowing how much production. I know we're like obsessed with production in our society and achievement, but nobody talks about how reprieve offers, like maybe not like a material advancement, but so much value and so much can be accessed. And it's almost like it's not in the opposite direction of achievement and productiveness, but it's almost like a internal directional growth that happens, that it and it's not the same, but there is an essence of satisfaction that's similar, and maybe I would argue even deeper when you start to explore the progression of yourself internally.
Oh, it can be so satisfying. I I had an experience yesterday when I was going to get some um, gasoline, and I heard all these dogs barking, and all of a sudden, this pack of 5 dogs came charging at me. And at first, it's like, oh, they must see something. They were quite a ways away, but they kept coming closer and closer and closer, and all of a sudden, I realized, oh, they're barking at me, and they're charging at me. And the lead dog had on one of those spiky collars, and it came within about 2 feet tops in front of me, baring its teeth. And for a moment, I got really scared, and then I realized, just you feel that in your stomach, Amy Joe, just pause. And I rooted myself. I stopped, and the dog like skidded to a stop. Like I said, about a foot and a half from me, and stopped baring its teeth, and then came up to smell me. But I mean, I wondered if I was going to be attacked by these dogs. And instead of freaking out or running, I just paused. And the dog got it. It just stopped. And I was blown away by how calm I stayed. But I stopped, paused, and went right to breathing fully into my belly, and being inside my own skin. And it rippled out. I mean, isn't that great? The ripple
Yeah.
effect, you know?
Yeah, that's like, the application of the pause at its best.
I
I
was
was like,
so grateful.
yeah, me too. I'm glad you had that wherewithal and that training that you've trained yourself to do that in the face of fear, in the face of experiences so that you could recall it that quickly and go use that tool as opposed to your flight tool or your fight tool, whatever else other options you had.
It was great. I mean, I definitely had that instinct at first to just like get really grounded in my belly and my legs, and then start growling and baring my teeth at the dog. But then I thought, it could just react and actually attack me,
Right.
if I amplified that energy. And it's taking a lot longer to even give words to that experience because it just flashed through me so quickly. And like you said, I was so blessed to have that awareness to then, go into that instant grounding, rooting, transforming that energy through my breath and then ripple out that.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
so powerful. And I think that translates to everything. The more I learn, the less I know, but I have really been playing around with that. The way you do the mundane is where it's at. Like how you wash your dishes, how you walk out your door, how you plant a succulent, how you you know what you're doing in line at the grocery store, all those like little moments in between, they all add up and they're all choices to be made that can have an affect on the world around you, and then because we're bidirectional feedback beings, then have effect on yourself.
right. It's so true.
Oh, thank you so much for this conversation, Amy. We were saying like, okay, we're gonna have a juicy conversation, and I think we definitely had a juicy conversation.
I agree. It's been a joy, Isabel. I always love having the privilege and honor of hanging out with you, whether it's in this kind of a way or even, or in person. I just feel so blessed to have you in my life.
The feeling is absolutely mutual. Let me ask you this, Amy. Let me spring this one on you. We ask all of our guests this. What is your go-to donut of choice?
I would say my go to of choice would be a chocolate donut with chocolate icing.
Chocolate on chocolate. I like that. I like your style.
Oh, but I have to find
So
out
good.
what yours is.
Oh, mine is it's been the same, I think, since I was a little girl. I love those maple bars, no filling.
Oh, yeah.
Those are so good.
I mean, I like cream puffs myself, even more
Okay, good to know.
than
Good to know. I hope that everybody listening gained something from that as well.
Okay, I think we did it. Listen, I don't know what we did, but we did it. Look, unattainable ideals are overrated. We're way more connected and deserving than society's false sense of separation dictates us to be. You're not just one person, you're enough. Your effort is enough, and change is possible. Question the standard that says otherwise, because what if almost is good enough? Just by tuning in, you're a part of our clan. Not in a culty way, though. We don't know how far this ripple can go, but we're going to keep showing up. And we'll never get to perfection, but we're all going to be okay if we let the process be the solution and we see the value in the attempt. Thanks for listening to another episode of The Ripple Affect. We're looking forward to exploring a different facet of change with you next Tuesday. DM us directly at Ripple Effect Pod on Instagram and let us know what you liked about our show or any of your own ideas. We're really excited to hear from you. We value your feedback because it helps us make the pod better, and it's our way of including you in our process. Okay, so ratings aren't the point of why we do this. We really want to make a change in the world. But in the Matrix, there are algorithms. So yeah, every single review we get helps the ripple go farther. To help us out, please take 2 seconds, find the ratings and review section on whatever platform you're listening from, click 5 stars, wink, wink, and leave a review. We know you're busy, so just saying hello or literally hi as the review helps us hack the Matrix. We sincerely appreciate it. If you want to become officially initiated into our clan, again, not in a culty way, hit the subscribe button wherever you get your podcast. And as always, we're in it with you. Keep questioning. Stay curious. You got this, clan.
A special thank you, love, and credit to the magnificent Mia Casasanta for this beautiful music you're listening to right now.